Imagine this. Every day you wake up with a dream to speak English fluently, to express yourself confidently, to stand tall in front of the world without fear. But then a thought crosses your mind. I don't have enough time. I need hours and hours to improve. That's where so many people go wrong. The truth is, you don't need hours. You don't need a big schedule. You don't need to wait for the perfect time or the perfect teacher. What you need is just 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes that can completely change the way you speak, the way you think, and the way the world sees you. 15 minutes may sound small, but it's not the size of the time that matters. It's the consistency that transforms you. Think about it. If you dedicate just 15 minutes daily to practicing English, that's over 90 hours in a year. 90 hours of pure focus. Do you realize how much power that holds? While others waste time scrolling through their phones or waiting for motivation, you can invest that little slice of your day into building the skill that can open doors for the rest of your life. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for the right moment. They wait for long study sessions, they wait for energy, they wait for free weekends. But waiting is dangerous. It kills your momentum. The truth is, you don't need a perfect plan, you need discipline. Imagine yourself practicing every day, even if it's just listening to a podcast, reading an article, repeating sentences, or talking to yourself in the mirror. Every single day, those 15 minutes add up. And soon, the same words you once struggled with will start to flow effortlessly. I want you to picture something. Imagine 1 year from today. You have two versions of yourself. One version kept saying, "I'll start tomorrow. I'll practice when I have more time." That version is still struggling, still shy, still scared to speak. The other version of you took action, gave just 15 minutes daily, stayed consistent, and now speaks with confidence, fluency, and pride. Which version do you want to be? The choice is made not in the future, but in the small moments of today. Don't underestimate those minutes. They are more powerful than you think. You see, fluency isn't built by studying grammar books for hours once in a while. Fluency is built by touching the language daily, by keeping your mind connected to it, by building a habit so strong that English becomes part of your lifestyle, not just a subject you study. That's the secret. The more you connect with it every day, the more natural it feels. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be days when you feel like skipping. But those are the days that matter the most, because every time you show up, even for just 15 minutes, you're telling yourself, "I am committed to my growth. I am not giving up." And that belief, that unshakable commitment, will carry you further than talent or luck ever could. Think about the opportunities that will come your way when you speak confidently. Imagine walking into an interview and expressing yourself without fear. Imagine traveling abroad and connecting with people without hesitation. Imagine sharing your ideas, your dreams, your story with the world in a language that once felt impossible. All of this can begin with just 15 minutes a day. So, ask yourself right now, are you willing to give 15 minutes to your dream? Are you willing to choose progress over excuses? Are you ready to take control of your future, one small step at a time? Remember, greatness is not built in one day, but it is built every day, and 15 minutes of daily practice can take you closer to fluency than 100 hours of random effort. The time will pass anyway. 1 year from now, you will either look back with pride or regret. Pride that you gave yourself 15 minutes daily and transformed your English, or regret that you let another year slip by because you thought it was too little to make a difference. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Start now, today, with whatever you have, wherever you are, because your journey to fluency doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to begin. When it comes to learning English, or any skill for that matter, many people make the mistake of believing that the more hours they put in at once, the faster they will see results. They think, if I sit for 4 hours today and cram everything, I'll become fluent quickly. But the reality is very different. It's not about how much time you put in one single day. It's about how consistently you show up, even if it's just for a short time. Consistency is the real game changer. If you practice for hours only once in a while, you may feel motivated at that moment, but when the habit breaks, so does your progress. On the other hand, if you dedicate even just 15 minutes every single day, you build a rhythm, a routine, and most importantly, momentum. And that momentum is what keeps carrying you forward, even on days when your motivation feels low. Think about the difference between intensity and consistency in real life. Imagine you go to the gym. If you lift weights for 4 hours straight on one day and then skip the gym for the next month, will you get fit? Of course not. Your muscles won't grow because you gave them only one intense session and then nothing. Now compare that to someone who goes to the gym for just 20 minutes every day. Day after day, week after week, they put in those consistent reps. Who do you think will be stronger in a year? The one who trained with discipline and regularity. The same applies to learning English. Fluency is not the result of one powerful burst of effort. It is the reward of small, steady, and repeated actions. Consistency works because it taps into the way your brain learns and retains information. When you expose your mind to English daily, even for a short time, you're constantly reinforcing what you already know while adding new layers of knowledge. Your brain doesn't forget easily because the information is refreshed again and again. But if you go weeks without practice, your brain begins to lose its connection with the language. That's why so many learners complain, "I forget everything I study." It's not that they're incapable, it's that they are inconsistent, and inconsistency always leads to frustration. Consistency, on the other hand, brings clarity, confidence, and gradual mastery. One of the most beautiful things about consistency is that it lowers resistance. In the beginning, the hardest part of practice is often just starting. You feel lazy, you feel tired, you tell yourself maybe tomorrow. But when practicing English becomes part of your daily life, it no longer feels like a heavy task. It becomes a habit, something you do without much thinking, just like brushing your teeth or drinking water. That's the magic of showing up daily. Over time, those 15 minutes don't feel forced, they feel natural, and what once seemed difficult eventually becomes effortless. Another powerful truth is that consistency builds discipline. Motivation is great, but motivation is not always reliable. There will be days when you don't feel motivated at all. There will be days when you're stressed, busy, or distracted. If you rely only on motivation, you'll give up easily. But if you rely on consistency, you'll still show up even when motivation disappears. And every time you keep your promise to practice, even if just for 15 minutes, you strengthen your willpower. You remind yourself that you are committed, that you are serious about your dream of fluency. That's how confidence is built, not in one day, but in the repeated proof that you can stay consistent. Consistency also teaches patience, which is a vital quality in language learning. Many people want quick results. They want to speak fluently in a few weeks, and when they don't see instant progress, they give up. But fluency is not magic. It's a journey. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You water it every day, you take care of it, and slowly but surely, it grows into something strong. In the same way, your daily practice may not give you noticeable results overnight, but in a few months, when you suddenly realize you're speaking more confidently, when you understand conversations more easily, when you no longer freeze while searching for words, that's when you'll appreciate the power of your consistent effort. There's another mistake people often make. They overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They think 15 minutes is too little to matter, but let's calculate. 15 minutes a day adds up to over 90 hours in a year, 90 hours of focused English practice. That's more than enough to change your level completely. While others waste time waiting for the right moment to start, you could be silently building your skills with those consistent minutes. And when opportunities come, an interview, a presentation, a conversation with a foreigner, you'll be ready while they'll still be wishing they had started earlier. The truth is, intensity fades, but consistency stays. Intensity can burn you out, but consistency keeps you balanced. Intensity depends on emotion, but consistency depends on discipline. If you can master consistency, even with small actions, you can achieve fluency, because it's not the hours you put in all at once that matter. It's the minutes you show up for, day after day, without excuses. So often in life, we believe that only big actions create big results. We imagine we need to make dramatic sacrifices, spend endless hours, or completely change our lifestyle overnight to achieve something meaningful. But the truth is, greatness is not built in giant leaps. It is built in small, steady steps, taken again and again. When it comes to learning English, those small steps matter more than you realize. 15 minutes of practice every day might look like nothing at first glance, but over time, it turns into a mountain of progress. It is the power of compound growth. Tiny actions multiplied daily that lead to extraordinary transformation. Think of it like a drop of water. A single drop doesn't look powerful, but when it keeps falling on the same spot every day, it can carve through stone. That is the power of consistency in small steps. Every time you listen to a short podcast, every time you repeat a phrase, every time you read a paragraph or write a sentence, you are adding drops of effort. Alone, one drop seems weak, but when those drops collect over weeks and months, they form an unstoppable river. That river can carry you to fluency. The problem is, most learners underestimate these small steps. They say, "What's the point of just 15 minutes? It's too little. It won't help me." But this mindset is the reason they stay stuck. They wait for the day when they can dedicate hours, but that day rarely comes. Life is busy, responsibilities pile up, and in waiting for the perfect chance to take a big leap, they waste years. Meanwhile, someone who commits to small daily steps keeps moving forward. Slowly, silently, steadily, they keep improving. And while others are still waiting for their chance, this person is already speaking with more confidence, already achieving the fluency others only dream of. Small steps are powerful because they remove excuses. 15 minutes is not difficult to find. You can practice while commuting, before sleeping, after waking up, during a break, anytime. It doesn't demand much, but it gives back more than you expect. That's the secret. You don't need to turn your life upside down to learn English. You just need to insert it into your daily routine in small, simple ways. Over time, these small moments add up to something massive. Another beauty of small steps is that they create a sense of achievement. When you finish a 15-minute practice session, you feel satisfied. You tell yourself, "I showed up today." That small victory builds your confidence and motivates you to keep going tomorrow. Compare that to setting unrealistic goals like, "I will study for 3 hours every day." You might do it for a few days, but soon you feel exhausted and guilty when you fail to keep up. And once guilt enters, you stop altogether. But with small steps, the opposite happens. Instead of guilt, you feel progress. Instead of pressure, you feel hope. And this emotional reward keeps you moving forward. Let's take an example. Imagine someone decides to memorize 10 new English words every day. That doesn't sound like much, does it? But at the end of a year, that's 3,650 new words. That's enough to completely transform someone's vocabulary and confidence. Now, imagine someone else who says, "I'll study vocabulary for 3 hours when I have free time." How many words will they actually learn in a year? Probably far fewer, because the big effort never happens consistently. This is the difference between chasing big, irregular steps and embracing small daily ones. Small steps also help you build habits naturally. When you repeat an action daily, it becomes automatic. You no longer need to force yourself. You simply do it without much thought. And when English becomes a habit in your life, improvement is inevitable. You no longer depend on motivation or willpower. You depend on routine. Just like brushing your teeth doesn't feel like a burden. Practicing English for 15 minutes a day becomes second nature. And once something becomes a habit, it stays with you for life. It's also important to understand that language learning is not about intensity, it's about exposure. Your brain needs regular contact with English to internalize it. Small daily steps keep your brain connected. Even if you only practice a little, your mind is constantly reminded of the language, constantly processing, constantly reinforcing. This is how fluency is built, not in one marathon session, but in countless small exposures that strengthen the connection in your brain until speaking English feels natural. Think of children learning their mother tongue. They don't sit for hours memorizing grammar rules or vocabulary lists. They take small steps, listening to parents, repeating words, observing conversations, practicing little by little every day. And over time, those small repeated interactions create natural fluency. You can use the same principle. Don't underestimate the little things you do daily. They are far more powerful than you imagine. Small steps create big results because they keep you moving. Even when you feel tired, even when you don't have much energy, you can still manage 15 minutes. And as long as you are moving forward, no matter how small the step, you are not standing still. You are closer to fluency today than you were yesterday. That progress, however small, builds momentum. And once momentum is on your side, it becomes unstoppable. So when you think about your journey to English fluency, remember this. You don't need to climb the mountain in one day. You just need to take one step, then another, then another. Small steps are not small. They are the foundation of big achievements. With each 15-minute practice, you are writing your future. You are shaping your confidence. You are creating the version of yourself who speaks English with ease. One of the greatest secrets of learning a language is not how hard you study in a single moment, but how often you connect with it. Fluency doesn't come from memorizing hundreds of grammar rules in one sitting or spending an entire weekend buried in books. It comes from a simple truth. You need to stay connected to English every single day. This daily connection is what transforms English from being a subject you study into a part of your life, your thinking, and your identity. When you surround yourself with English daily, it stops being foreign and starts becoming familiar. It stops being difficult and starts becoming natural. That shift is only possible when you touch the language consistently, even if just for a few minutes. Think about it like a relationship. Imagine you have a friend you only meet once in a year. No matter how long you spend together on that one day, the bond will never be as strong as with the friend you see and talk to every single day, even if just for a short time. That daily connection makes the bond real, alive, and unbreakable. The same is true for English. If you only study once in a while, it always feels distant. But if you interact with it every day, listening, reading, speaking, or even thinking in English, the connection grows deeper and stronger. It becomes part of your daily rhythm, and fluency follows naturally. Many learners struggle because they treat English like an exam subject. They think they can memorize everything, then recall it later when needed. But English is not just knowledge, it's a skill. And like every skill, it needs daily practice. Imagine trying to learn how to play the guitar. If you only pick it up once a month, you will never master it. Your fingers won't remember the chords, your hands won't be comfortable, and you'll always feel like a beginner. But if you play a little every day, your fingers become familiar with the strings, your hands move with ease, and soon music flows naturally. That's exactly how daily connection with English works. It trains your tongue to pronounce words, your ears to catch sounds, and your mind to think in the language. Daily exposure also reduces fear. Many people feel nervous when speaking English because they are not used to hearing or using it often. The words feel strange in their mouths, the sounds feel fast, and their minds freeze. But if you hear English every day, that fear fades away. The more you listen, the more comfortable your ears become with the rhythm. The more you speak, even to yourself, the more natural your voice feels in English. What was once scary slowly becomes normal. And when English feels normal, confidence rises automatically. It's also important to remember that your brain works like a sponge. It absorbs what you give it regularly. If you give it English daily, it keeps soaking in new words, new patterns, and new expressions. Even when you're not actively studying, your subconscious mind continues processing what you've heard and seen. That's why sometimes you suddenly use a phrase you don't even remember learning. It's because your brain stored it from your daily exposure. On the other hand, if your brain rarely touches English, it forgets quickly. That's why many people say, "I studied for years in school, but I can't speak." It's not because they lack intelligence, it's because they didn't keep the connection alive. Daily connection doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as listening to one English song, reading one page of a book, repeating one short speech, or writing a few sentences about your day. The key is not the size of the practice, but the frequency. When you connect daily, even in small ways, you are telling your brain, "This language matters. Keep it fresh, keep it active," and your brain listens. That's how fluency grows, slowly but surely, through daily touch. Another powerful benefit of daily connection is that it helps you think in English. At first, you may always translate in your head from your native language to English, and that makes speaking slow and stressful. But when you surround yourself with English daily, your brain starts skipping translation. It begins to process ideas directly in English. This shift is a breakthrough moment in every learner's journey, and it only happens when English is not something you occasionally study, but something you live with every day. Daily connection also creates opportunities for creativity. The more you engage with English, the more you'll want to use it in different ways. You may start writing short notes in English, sending messages to friends, journaling, or even talking to yourself while walking. These creative interactions may seem small, but they add flavor to your practice. They keep you interested and excited. They turn learning from a boring task into an enjoyable experience. And perhaps the most important part is this: daily connection with English shapes your mindset. It reminds you every day that you are growing, that you are moving forward, that you are not giving up. It builds a habit of progress. When you touch English daily, you no longer see it as a mountain that's too high. You see it as a path you are already walking. You stop worrying about how long it will take and start enjoying the steps you're taking today. That change in mindset makes the journey lighter, happier, and more fulfilling. So when you think about fluency, don't imagine it as something far away. Think of it as something you can touch today, right now, with even the smallest action. Every day you connect with English, you are weaving it into your life. Every day you are making it less of a stranger and more of a friend. And just like with any true friendship, the more time you spend together, the stronger the bond becomes. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves in life is that we will begin when the time is right. We keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect environment, the perfect teacher, or the perfect opportunity. And in waiting, we lose the most precious thing we have: time. When it comes to learning English, this habit of waiting becomes a trap. Many learners say, "I'll start when I'm free. I'll practice when I'm less busy. I'll begin when I feel ready." But let me tell you the truth. The perfect time does not exist. If you keep waiting for the perfect time, you'll spend your entire life waiting. Discipline, not perfection, is what changes everything. Discipline means showing up even when things aren't perfect. It means practicing even when you're tired, even when you're busy, even when you don't feel like it. Because if you only practice on the days you feel motivated, your progress will always be inconsistent. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. Motivation depends on your emotions, but discipline depends on your commitment. And fluency requires commitment. If you can build the discipline to give just 15 minutes every day, no matter what, you will achieve what many people only dream about. Think about life itself. Have you ever noticed that nothing is ever truly perfect? There's always something happening: work pressure, family responsibilities, health issues, unexpected events. If you wait for a clear schedule, you may wait forever. That's why the people who achieve fluency are not the ones who wait, but the ones who act despite the imperfection. They don't say, "I'll wait until I have one free hour." They say, "I only have 15 minutes, but I will use them." That's the mindset that makes winners, not waiting for ideal conditions, but making progress in real conditions. Discipline is also about controlling your excuses. Excuses are easy to make. "I'm too tired today. I'll practice tomorrow." 15 minutes won't matter. But every time you give in to these excuses, you train your brain to give up. On the other hand, every time you ignore the excuse and still practice, you train your brain to fight, to persist, to stay strong. And over time, you become the kind of person who doesn't depend on moods or circumstances. You become someone who keeps promises to yourself. That inner strength will not only improve your English, it will improve your entire life. Imagine this scenario. Two learners have the same dream of speaking fluent English. One keeps waiting for the perfect time, so days pass, weeks pass, months pass, and nothing changes. The other one decides, "No matter what, I'll give 15 minutes every day." Even on busy days, even on difficult days, they still show up. After 6 months, who will be more confident? After a year, who will speak fluently? The difference is clear: the one who practiced with discipline, not the one who waited for perfection. This is why discipline always wins over delay. Discipline also creates trust in yourself. When you say, "I'll practice daily," and you actually do it, you begin to respect yourself. You start believing in your own word. That self-trust builds confidence. You no longer doubt whether you can succeed because your actions prove it every day. And when you trust yourself, speaking English in front of others becomes easier. Fear reduces, hesitation fades, and confidence rises. This chain reaction begins with one simple thing: the discipline to show up daily. Another reason discipline matters more than waiting is because opportunities don't wait. Life is full of unexpected chances: a job interview, a conversation with a foreigner, a chance to present your idea. If you're still waiting for the perfect time to prepare, you won't be ready when the opportunity arrives. But if you've been disciplined with your 15 minutes a day, you'll be ready without stress. You won't need to panic or wish for more time. You'll already have the skills built from your daily discipline. That's the reward for not waiting. It's also important to understand that discipline is not about being strict or punishing yourself. Discipline is about love. Love for your future, love for your dreams, love for the version of yourself who speaks confidently. When you practice with discipline, you're telling yourself, I care about my growth, I respect my dreams, I'm willing to work for them. That kind of love is stronger than any excuse, stronger than any delay. It keeps you moving forward even when things feel tough. You don't need to be perfect to practice. You don't need perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, or perfect surroundings. All you need is the courage to begin with what you have and the discipline to keep going. Many learners make the mistake of saying, when I learn more words, then I'll start speaking. When I understand grammar better, then I'll practice. But this is just another form of waiting for perfection. If you want to speak fluently, you must start speaking now, even if you make mistakes. Those mistakes are not signs of failure, they are signs of progress. Discipline means embracing those imperfections and continuing anyway. At the end of the day, discipline gives you freedom. The freedom to communicate without fear. The freedom to grab opportunities. The freedom to express your thoughts in English without hesitation. But that freedom is not given. It is earned. And you earn it through daily discipline, not through waiting for perfect moments that may never come. Excuses are the biggest barriers between us and the life we dream of. When it comes to learning English, the problem is rarely ability, it's excuses. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. I need a teacher. I'm not ready yet. These excuses may sound convincing in the moment, but the truth is they steal opportunities, they steal growth, and they keep us stuck in the same place year after year. And here's the most painful part. Every excuse we make feels small today, but over time, they pile up and become regret. The difference between someone who becomes fluent and someone who stays silent is not talent or intelligence. It's the courage to stop hiding behind excuses and take action anyway. Excuses feel safe. They protect us from discomfort. They give us permission to delay. But that safety is an illusion. Each time you say, I'll practice tomorrow, you're pushing your dream one step further away. Each time you say, 15 minutes won't matter, you're choosing to stay stuck. And the more you practice making excuses, the better you get at it, until it becomes automatic. Soon, excuses are not just stopping your English, they're shaping your mindset. They're teaching you to give up before you even start. That's why overcoming excuses is not just about practicing English, it's about transforming your identity. When you learn to silence excuses, you teach yourself a powerful lesson, that you are stronger than your doubts, stronger than your laziness, stronger than your fears. And with every excuse you defeat, you gain confidence. Imagine this. You come home tired after a long day, and your mind says, skip practice today. But instead, you still give 15 minutes. At the end of those minutes, you don't just feel progress, you feel pride, you feel stronger, you feel capable. That inner voice of pride is confidence, and it grows louder every time you win over excuses. Excuses will always try to disguise themselves as reasons. They will tell you, you're busy, it's okay to skip. They will whisper, you're not ready yet, maybe later. But deep inside, you know the truth. These are not reasons, they are excuses. The more honest you become with yourself, the easier it becomes to fight them. The moment you recognize an excuse for what it really is, a thief of your progress, you gain the power to overcome it. And once you begin overcoming excuses, you realize how strong you truly are. Overcoming excuses also means breaking the habit of waiting for perfect conditions. Many people say, I can't practice because I don't have a teacher, or I don't have a language partner, or I don't have enough resources. But in reality, resources are everywhere today. Videos, podcasts, articles, apps, and even the power of speaking to yourself. The real problem isn't lack of resources. It's the excuses that stop you from using what's already available. The moment you stop saying I can't and start saying I will, you open doors that you never noticed before. Another powerful benefit of overcoming excuses is that it builds resilience. Life is not always smooth. There will be days when you're busy, when you're tired, when you're stressed. Excuses will scream louder on those days, but if you learn to practice even in those tough moments, you build mental toughness. You prove to yourself that you can stay committed even when it's hard. And that toughness doesn't just help you with English, it becomes part of your character. It makes you more confident in every area of life because you know you can rely on yourself to keep going no matter what. Think of successful people in any field. Athletes, musicians, leaders. Do you think they never had excuses? Of course they did. But the reason they succeeded is because they refused to let excuses control them. They chose discipline over comfort, action over delay, and that choice made them confident, capable, and unstoppable. You can do the same with English. Every time you refuse to give in to an excuse, you're building the same mindset as the people who succeed. You're creating a version of yourself that doesn't back down, that doesn't surrender to laziness, that keeps moving forward no matter how small the step. Excuses often come from fear, fear of failure, fear of mistakes, fear of being judged. Many people say, "I'll speak when I'm better," or "I'll practice when I'm ready." But the truth is, you become better by speaking. You become ready by practicing. If you wait to be perfect, you'll wait forever. Overcoming excuses means accepting that mistakes are part of growth, that discomfort is part of progress. And the moment you accept this, your confidence begins to rise. You no longer fear mistakes, you welcome them because they mean you are moving forward. Confidence doesn't come from waiting. It doesn't come from thinking. It doesn't come from wishing. Confidence comes from action. Tiny, consistent actions that prove to yourself day after day that you are capable. And action begins when excuses end. Every excuse you defeat is a seed of confidence planted in your heart. Over time, those seeds grow into unshakable self-belief. And that belief, more than any grammar rule or vocabulary list, is what gives you the courage to speak fluently, to express yourself without hesitation, and to shine in front of the world. So the next time your mind tries to make an excuse, pause and ask yourself, do I want the comfort of this excuse today or the confidence of fluency tomorrow? Because you cannot have both. Excuses give you comfort now, but regret later. Discipline gives you effort now, but confidence later. And if fluency is your dream, you must be willing to let go of excuses and choose action. Fluency is not just about speaking another language. It is about unlocking doors that were once closed, about creating opportunities that you never thought possible, and about stepping into a bigger world with confidence. Many people think learning English is only about passing exams or getting good grades, but in reality, it's much more than that. It's about freedom, the freedom to express your ideas, to connect with people from different backgrounds, to pursue your dreams without being held back by hesitation or fear. When you become fluent, you don't just speak better, you live better. Think for a moment about the opportunities that fluency brings. Imagine walking into a job interview where English is required. If you are fluent, you can speak confidently, share your thoughts clearly, and leave a lasting impression. That confidence could be the difference between getting the job and walking away disappointed. Now imagine the same situation without fluency. You have the skills, the knowledge, the potential, but the words get stuck. You hesitate, you stumble, and suddenly your ability is overshadowed by your struggle to express it. The job slips away, not because you weren't capable, but because the language barrier held you back. This is why fluency is not just a skill, it's a key that opens doors to opportunities you already deserve. Fluency also connects you with people around the world. Today, we live in a global society. Through the internet, social media, and travel, the world is closer than ever. And English is the bridge that connects billions of people. When you are fluent, you can build friendships with people from different countries, share your story, learn about their cultures, and feel at home anywhere in the world. Without fluency, that bridge is weak. You stay on one side, limited in who you can communicate with. But with fluency, the bridge becomes strong, and suddenly, the whole world is within your reach. Think of education. Many of the world's best books, lectures, courses, and research are available in English. Fluency gives you direct access to this knowledge. It allows you to learn from the best teachers, read the best resources, and grow beyond the limitations of your local environment. It gives you the power to explore ideas freely without depending on translations or waiting for others to explain. In a way, fluency becomes a superpower. It gives you access to knowledge that others may not have, and that knowledge can transform your future. Fluency also brings freedom in everyday life. Imagine traveling abroad and not having to worry about asking for directions, ordering food, or handling emergencies. Imagine being able to watch movies, listen to music, or enjoy podcasts in English without subtitles. Imagine being able to express yourself online, share your ideas, or even start a YouTube channel that reaches a global audience. Fluency makes all of this possible. It takes away the feeling of being an outsider and gives you the confidence to participate fully in every experience. One of the most powerful opportunities fluency gives is self-expression. So many people have great ideas, deep emotions, and powerful stories inside them, but without the ability to communicate, those ideas remain locked. Fluency allows you to share your voice with the world. It allows you to inspire, to lead, to teach, to connect. When you can speak English confidently, you are no longer limited to a small circle. You can reach millions. And sometimes, one message spoken fluently can change not just your life, but the lives of others who hear you. Fluency also impacts your confidence in ways you cannot imagine. When you overcome the barrier of language, you start believing in yourself more. You realize that if you can master something as challenging as a language, you can master anything. That belief doesn't just stay with English, it spreads to your career, your relationships, your goals. You walk with more confidence, you speak with more authority, and you face challenges with more courage. That kind of inner strength is priceless. It's important to understand that fluency is not only about grammar and vocabulary, it's about opportunities that shape your destiny. A promotion at work, a scholarship for study abroad, a partnership with someone across the world, a friendship that changes your perspective. All of these can come from fluency. And the beautiful part is that fluency doesn't demand perfection. The world doesn't need you to speak like a native speaker. It needs you to speak with clarity, confidence, and courage. That's enough to create opportunities that can transform your life. Now imagine yourself 1 year from today. You chose discipline over delay. You practiced every day, even if just for 15 minutes. You overcame excuses. And now you can speak English fluently. What opportunities would you have? Perhaps a better job, perhaps a chance to travel, perhaps the ability to stand on a stage and share your story with people from all over the world. Perhaps simply the confidence to walk into any room and know that language will never hold you back again. That future is not a dream, it is a choice. And that choice begins with the decision to practice daily until fluency is yours. Fluency is not just about speaking differently, it's about living differently. It's about removing barriers, opening doors, and creating a life where your potential is no longer trapped inside. It's about freedom, growth, and opportunities that can shape your destiny. Every minute you invest in learning English brings you closer to that life-changing freedom. And the moment you achieve fluency, you'll realize it was never just about English. It was about becoming the confident, capable, unstoppable version of yourself that you were always meant to be. So today, I want you to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life becomes easier, but right now. 15 minutes a day may sound small, but it holds the power to change your entire life. Every single day you practice, you are building discipline, defeating excuses, strengthening confidence, and opening doors to opportunities you never imagined. Fluency is not something reserved for the talented or the lucky. It belongs to the consistent, the persistent, the ones who refuse to give up. Don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time is a lie. Don't let excuses steal your future, because your future is worth more. Every word you learn, every mistake you make, every sentence you practice, it all adds up. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll open your mouth and the words will flow. You'll feel that freedom, that power, that confidence. You'll stand taller, speak louder, and walk braver because you'll know that you earned it. Remember this, fluency is not just about English. It's about proving to yourself that you can break barriers, that you can rise above challenges, that you can create opportunities where others see limitations. 15 minutes a day is not just a practice. It's a promise to yourself, a promise to your future, a promise to never let fear hold you back again. So step forward, begin today, keep going tomorrow, and never stop until the world hears your voice with the strength, the clarity, and the confidence it deserves. Your fluency, your freedom, your future, they are waiting for you, and all it takes is 15 minutes a day to claim them.